What is going on, YouTube? I knew you were excited as I am, because the reason you're clicking on this video is more than likely that you are ready to buy your first OneWheel. And the biggest question of all, after all that, is which freaking accessory do I buy for my OneWheel? It's endless. We're gonna cover it today. We're gonna jump into it. I'm wearing these sunglasses because I got this new light and it looks like I'm out of a freaking music video, and I had to start the video with this because it looked pretty fun. But let's jump into it. I'm not gonna wear these, but let's dive into this video today. So you guys are probably watching this on Thanksgiving, or if not, even later, but I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving with your family. And we all know following Thanksgiving is Black Friday deals, and it has already begun. So the great part is craft&ride, the Float Life, all these companies, and Future Motion are having deals right now for Black Friday. They've already started. I think they started like a week ago. They didn't miss a beat. So the prices that I will be going over today are reflective of the sale items. So do know that the prices will increase after Black Friday and so on. So just do your own research on the prices then, and then weigh your options. So when you get on the Future Motion's website and you're at the checkout, it pops up with the bundles, right? You're trying to figure out which one you want to go through. We're gonna cover the Pint and we're gonna cover the XR, but we're gonna start off with the Pint, the little guy first, and then we'll jump to the XR. I will put chapter markers in the description below, so if you want to just hop to whichever one's more applicable to you, or if you just don't want to watch a certain part, just read the chapter markers, click on it. It'll be really easy for you to hop to. 3 different bundles for each OneWheel. However, I'm just gonna cover all the accessories that come in the actual like elite or ultimate bundle, the one that basically includes all the accessories that Future Motion thinks that you're gonna want and need. So when it comes to the Pint Ultimate Bundle, it's $1,200 and they're gonna give you a little bit of a discount on each accessory. So the first one that we're gonna start off with is the fender that they're gonna include and give to you. So this one actually goes for $75 normally, but if you get it with the bundle, it's $57.70. However, I would actually recommend that you look into getting the magnetic fender from Craft&Ride, and you can also buy these interchangeably between the Float Life or Craft&Ride. They usually share the same products on both their websites, and so just take a look around to see which one offers the one that you want. I'm gonna recommend the magnetic fender because it's $70, and I think that's a pretty good deal for the fact that it's gonna be really easy to just pop right off and clean whenever you need to, and it's not a really tedious activity where you have to kind of unscrew the things. And to be honest, a lot of the times I think it kind of looks cooler without the fender. That's just me. So maybe on some days where you know you're not going to be riding over, I don't know, a bunch of puddles or riding off dirt trails or whatnot, and you want that clean, open, sleek look, take the fender off. 1 second, pops right off. And the other good thing is you're gonna be wondering whether the fender actually stays on because it's magnetic. It will stay on. I've seen tons of videos and people have these fenders on there and they put them through all kinds of tests and the thing won't pop off. So it's a pretty legit magnetic fender. I'm just gonna recommend that. However, the regular fenders are just as good, so it's really up to you, and you can kind of customize it however you want. So the fender's really gonna be on your call, but I will just say look into the magnetic ones. Might be a good option and fit for you. So the next item on the list is the Mag Handle Pro. So the good thing about the Pint is that it does come with a handle already, and it's good, I like it. But the problem is it's not really comfortable. It feels pretty shitty. Not gonna lie, you won't wanna hold it and carry it for very long. So upgrading to the Pro, while it is gonna cost you a little bit more money, it's gonna be about $53.85 in the bundle if you bought the bundle. If you don't, it's $70. I know it's a lot to spend on kind of a handle, but I think in the long run, you're gonna appreciate it because it really feels so much better. And if you're ever commuting or going into stores and you're lugging this thing around and you gotta hold it, I promise you, your hand is gonna feel so much better with an actual Mag Handle Pro. The next major accessory is the ultra charger for the Pint. Do you really need the extra charge and speed? And totally up to you. This is really hard to say, but I am gonna say for most folks, you probably will want to get this. Eventually, you're gonna ride this pretty often, and if you have friends or family that you are riding with, you're gonna wanna get the ultra charger. You don't wanna sit around that long waiting to charge when you can get the ultra charger. So in the bundle, they will give you an ultra charger, which goes normally for $110, but with a part of the bundle, it's gonna be $84.59. So my recommendation for that one is actually to look into the Chai battery fast charger. That's actually from another company, and they sell theirs for $90. Reason being is not only is it a little bit cheaper normally, but it also is smaller in size, which I'm all about. If you can just save me some space in my backpack, I'm all for it. So I'm gonna tell you, if you can save any space and just get a save little bit of money, just get the Chai one, because it also charges you from like 0 to 95% in 40 minutes or so. So it's really not that big of a difference from the original Future Motion one, and I think for the size and savings and costs, I would get it. The next one is the bumpers. I will tell you that when I bought this bundle, it came with the bumpers, right? I have not touched it. Why? Because I bought the float plate instead. The reason you're gonna want this is because it serves two purposes more than these bumpers do. So the float plate will actually not only protect the bottom of the board, but it will also protect you from skidding and nose diving out. So what do I mean by that? So the material on the float plate is really slick, kind of like material. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but there have been times where I did nosedive on the Pint, whether I was going up a hill or just going too fast and pushing it, and I had enough time to recover because of the slickness material of the float plate, allowing me to regain my balance. So I'm gonna highly recommend that over buying these replacement bumpers. It already comes with bumpers to begin with. So I would just tell you from my experience, you don't need to buy those replacement parts, but get yourself a float plate. It's gonna protect the entire bottom of the board, and it's gonna be cheaper to replace the float plate than to keep replacing bumpers. The next most important thing is to get the rail guards. Yes, Future Motion will sell you some rail guards, a part of the bundle. However, I will also say there are options from craft&ride and the Float Life where they're gonna give you different styles and different material. And I personally ended up getting the ones from craft&ride, and they are called the HD Heavy Duty Rail Guards. And I like them. They've been great. Pro tip, look for the blemished sale items. I think either craft&ride and the Float Life might offer them, but these are great items to pick up. Why do I say that? Because they're going to be cheaper. They're gonna have some sort of cosmetic, perhaps irregularity, right? But who really cares? Because these things are gonna get scratched up the moment you take them out. This isn't like a cell phone or something that isn't meant to be scratched and dropped on the ground. You don't need it to be perfect and clean. It doesn't matter if there's a blemish on it. It's gonna get ruined the first time you take it out. I promise you. I have personally bought a bunch of things from there and saved myself a ton of money for items that had a little bit of a dent or scratch and worked perfectly fine. And to be honest, most of the time, I didn't even notice what the blemish was. I had no idea. It looked perfectly fine to me, and I saved myself a couple of bucks. So up to you, take a look in that though. One item that I do want to mention as an accessory for the Pint, which is not covered in the bundle, is actually going to be the foot pads. So Future Motion sells these shore stance wooden foot pads that you can get with the Pint. No, don't waste your time on that. I personally am not a fan of the wooden foot pads, but I know others are. That's my personal preference. I actually got the Cush Nug High Concave foot pad. Actually, when I bought it, it was the low because they didn't have the high. But I have tried my friend's high foot pad and it felt even better. So I'm definitely gonna recommend you get that. Two reasons for that one as well is that you're gonna get a grip tape, which is gonna be better, way better than the ones that came stock on the OneWheel Pint. You're gonna love the grip tape so much more, I promise you that. And the fact that the concave foot pad in the back, it just feels so good in terms of, so good. I can't describe the concavity. Like, it fits your foot more in the sense that the contact points will hit the balls of your feet and allow some contact in the back. Just trust me on that one. You're gonna love it. It's a solid accessory, which is definitely gonna change your whole experience. Immediately buy these foot pads and switch them out from the stock one. These stock foot pads are they're garbage. I'm just being honest. They're completely flat. They don't feel good at all. They're just these regular plastic, and it doesn't feel good at all. The Cushionugs actually have a little bit of softness into it because it's a bit of a more rubbery material. And this is just for the back foot pad. No one changes the front because that's where the sensor pad is, and we just leave that one stay flat. That's the unfortunate truth of where it is right now, and we just have to leave it because the sensors are there. Some people have switched them out before, and I've seen videos of it, but it looks like most of them eventually switched it back to the flat one. I don't know if because they had issues or they just didn't like it, but for starters, switch out the back, get the Cushnug. Let me know how your feet feel in the comments below, because it's gonna be magical. I promise you that. I rode on the flat ones stock. I rode on the flat stock ones for a while, and then when I switched it, it was like, you'll see. You'll see. Okay, so let's move on to the XR Ultimate Bundle. I personally did not buy the bundle for the XR because I already had learned from my experience on the Pint of what I did want and what I didn't need. So that's just my experience, and I'll break down which items you should get or shouldn't get when it comes to the XR. So the Fender, I did not get it. I personally like the way the XR looked without the fender. So my friend actually got the XR before I did. And for a while, I thought the XR looked kind of old school with the wooden foot pads, and I didn't like the way it looked at all, you know? But when he got it, and then he kind of started customizing it, and he didn't put on the fender, I was like, okay, I kind of get it. Like, now it's looking pretty cool to me. I like the cleanness of it. With the fender on the XR, it's just a little bit bulky. It's kind of like a big turtle shell on it that's just like, it just doesn't look as good to me. I like to be able to see the wheels spinning. I thought the aesthetic of it just looked really nice. That's just my opinion about that. However, I have ridden in the rain, and I will tell you that's not very fun, and I could probably find some clips somewhere of that ride, and maybe show you a picture of how my leg ended up looking. I will end the section on fenders and just say that is a personal preference and not a necessity when you're starting off. Depending on the terrains you're riding in, you may or may not want a fender. So I'm gonna leave that one up to you, but do know that there are some great options from the Float Life and Craft and Ride. So just compare on that one. The next item is the XR Hypercharger. I mentioned this earlier about the Pint, and if you've been watching that part and you came to this, you're gonna know that I recommend getting these eventually. I don't know how often some of you will ride, so it is possible to maybe go without it at first, because let's be real, when you're learning, you may not ride as much as you think you will. You're still learning, you're gonna take your time, you probably don't need to ride the entire battery down and then get back right out there. Some of you might, I was one of them, but you may not need it right away. So I'm gonna say this isn't a necessary buy right now, but I will definitely recommend it as an item going forward that I could see, I'm gonna say like 80% of you, 70%, something like that, will probably need it. That's gonna be on you whether you wanna do it or not. But as an alternative to the one from Future Motion to save you some money, because this Hypercharger is not only big, it's also expensive. It goes for $210, which is insane for a charger. I don't know how they get that number or how they Anyways, $210 for it. If you get it a part of the bundle, I think it drops it down to $145. So that's not bad. But if you're not gonna do the bundle and you're like, okay, well, what else should I buy then? The alternative is the Chai battery XR charger. This thing is going for $90 and it charges it from 0 to 95% in 60 minutes, which is practically the same as the Future Motion charger. So if you ask me, I would have bought the Chai battery if I could have. I unfortunately bought the Future Motion one. I didn't pay like $210, I got a pretty good deal. However, for $90 freaking dollars, and the fact that it's not that big, I got, you know what? No, I have to actually bring this charger to you because you need to see how ridiculously big this thing is and how much room it takes up in my backpack. Here it is. Look at this. I need to give you a comparative look. I mean, it's literally like the size of my head pretty much. Needless to say, it's a freaking brick. So if you don't want to carry this thing around, I highly recommend looking at the Chai battery. I had friends who purchased it, and when I saw it in person, I said, what the heck is that? Why do I have this freaking brick in my backpack when you guys have this other thing? So I'm just gonna point that out and say that's a really good buy. I don't see any reason to buy this Future Motion one, especially at $210 versus $90. Save yourself some money. The next thing that comes on the list is the Deep Shack Rack. It looks decent. I don't have this one, and it looks like it normally goes for $95. If you get a part of the bundle, it's $65.77. And I will say the one that I ended up getting for these stands, because you eventually want to have some sort of stand for these things. You don't want to lean it against your wall. It's just going to get it really dirty, and you don't want to lay it down on the... It just looks so much better. Get a stand. You can save some money if you buy some of the blemished ones I mentioned earlier on sale from craft&ride or the Float Life. I got the metal one that goes for about $56, $55.99 right now. I think that's a pretty good deal. However, you can probably makeshift your own stand in other ways. I've seen people use like guitar stands. I've seen people use like plastic crates. I've seen people build their own shelves. You can definitely get a little crafty with it if you want. But if you don't feel like doing all that and you just want to get a decent stand, the metal ones serve me perfectly fine. You could probably also enjoy the wooden ones that are also the same price, $55.99, and go with that too. That one's up to you, personal preference on that. I don't think it really matters. Sorry, I'm looking off my phone for the notes and I got a new subscriber, Sean Thomas. Shout out to you, my man. You happen to be on the video because you subscribed to me right when I'm recording this. So what's up, man? Hope you liked some content that I put out there, and that's why I hit the subscribe. But it might be a good point that if any of you are enjoying my content and stuff, please hit that subscribe, hit a like, let me know you're out there, and drop me a comment so that I'm not just talking to the abyss. I make these videos to honestly interact and meet you guys, and I just want to talk and chat, and it gets lonely in this YouTube bubble world. So say something, let me know your thoughts, whatever it is, just drop me a comment. I promise I will try to respond to each and every one of you, which I feel like I've done a pretty good job so far. So what's up? Anyways, keep on moving. The next item is the XR Mandel. The next item is the XR Mag Handle Pro. This is an interesting accessory. The reason I say that is because the OneWheel XR actually has a pretty good handle at the top of the board where you can grip it and hold it vertically. And in my opinion and experience, I have used that handle more than I have from the handle that I got on the side, which is the Mag Handle Pro, which I did get. But I will just say that I've actually used the other handle even more. It's a nice deep grip that you can actually hold on to, which the Pint unfortunately does not have. But when you get the float plate for the Pint, you can kind of get this little divot that the float plate, they kind of put like this little area where you can kind of sort of get a grip on it. It's not bad, but you're not gonna hold it very long. But on the XR, it's great. It feels awesome. It holds up like a nice skateboard style way. And I did get the Mag Handle Pro because the other option is the silver handle, and this thing is kind of more like a rope threading material, and I think it works great. A lot of my friends have them. I've seen a lot of riders with them. They have no complaints, no issues. They've held up perfectly fine. I just personally wanted to have a more minimalistic approach and style to my board. I didn't really like stuff hanging off the sides, and I just wanted that kind of clean, tucked away handle. So because I had the Mag Handle Pro on my Pint, I knew exactly how it was gonna feel already. And when the XR finally came out with that, I definitely knew that was something I wanted. However, now that I've kind of looked back on how much I've used it, I probably would be able to get away with almost never using that handle. I could probably, in most cases, just carry it by the top handle, but it is a nice option to have. So I'm not gonna say it's a mandatory or a must buy. I'm gonna say it's a nice thing to have. And for the cleaner look, it looks great. But if you want to save some money, just get that silver handle threaded one, and that's gonna do you just fine too. I do want to point out that with the XR, you also have to buy the mount and the handle. So this is actually pretty pricey because I think the mount itself is like $40, then the handle is $70. So that's how it adds up a little bit more, versus the silver handle that I mentioned is a much cheaper option, being that it's only $40. So save some money. The last item is the bumpers. Now, I covered this also when I talked about the Pint, being that the bumpers really aren't a replacement item you need to worry about. I would just buy the float plate for the XR. So the float plate for the Pint covers the whole bottom area and on the sides of the wheels, versus the float plate for the XR, it only really covers the end. It doesn't go all the way down the sides of the wheel, which isn't really a big deal. And the reason that I recommend the float plates over the bumpers is that it's gonna be a lot cheaper. So the float plates are $43.99, so it's much cheaper than paying the $55 than it normally is. It's just a better deal. I would recommend getting the float plates. These don't prevent you from skidding out of nosedives like I mentioned for the float plate for the Pint. These kind of like cover mostly the bottom and stick up a little bit. And as I mentioned with the Pint, one of the first things you're gonna wanna get when you get the XR is new foot pads. Get rid of those garbage stock foot pads immediately. They feel terrible, they feel horrible, the grip is just useless. I highly recommend getting the Cushnug Concave immediately. You're gonna notice such a difference in your riding experience. Your heels and soles of your feet are just gonna sing from the heavens. It feels so much better. The carving is just increased by like 1,000%, and you're gonna notice it for sure. And the best part is, like I mentioned, they're gonna give you a grip tape to cover the front and match. So that's another huge plus, because I really am not a fan of the grip tape that comes stock on the boards, and the ones they do give you just feel so much better, and they look so much better too. So I do want to point out that I am not endorsed by any of these companies or receive any commission for selling these products. I simply am just an enthusiast, and I just want to share my experiences with you guys. So it's just my opinion. No one has paid me to provide this information and vouch for them or give a review. However, that would be nice one day though, right? Like, I think that's what excites me about getting on YouTube. Is one of the things that I've always wanted to do is like get some sort of free product to review, and then it'd be cool to then give it away. Like if they gave me one to review and keep, and then one to like give away in a raffle, how cool would that be? That's like, one day, man, it's gonna happen on this channel. Just one day. Just somebody help me out here. Whether it's Craft and Ride, the Float Life, Chai Battery, someone hook me up. I just want to give away stuff. Like, that seems like such a fun thing to do. Like, I don't even have to keep it. Well, I think that covers everything, and I hope that you guys got some good information out of today's video. And do know that I appreciate you guys so much for watching these videos. It means a lot to me. If you do have a second, hit that subscribe, because I want to make more content for you guys, and I'd love to hear your feedback. So drop me comments, hit the like if you liked it. If you dislike it, then just punch your monitor screen and say dislike really loud or something. That might feel good. And or don't do that. Probably not a good idea. Just hit the like, that's a better option, right? Let's just do that. More importantly, I like the comments. I really like hearing from you guys. Honestly, that means more to me than the likes, but I think the likes are good for the algorithm of the YouTube, that it actually shows that people like the video. But personally, I really like reading your comments. I like chatting with you guys, so when you do get a chance and there's any questions or thoughts, or you just want to share your experience about the OneWheel, just drop me a comment. I just want to chat with you guys. I love it. I love meeting you guys from all across the country and the world. It's so exciting to me that we have these platforms where we can share these common interests together and just talk about simple things in life, like OneWheels or, I don't know, other stuff. If you did stay to the end of this video, then let's just do like a hidden code thing and just put like a smiley face at the end of your comment. And I will know that you watched it to the end, and I will give you extra love by hitting that heart icon thing or whatever. I don't know. It's just cool to know who actually watches to the end of this thing, because YouTube loves to tell you how long your average view duration is and whether people watch the whole thing. And I just find it fascinating for the folks that do stick to the end, and because those are the ones that are really bringing up the curve. You're the MVPs to the whole channel. So I just want to shout out to you guys and show you my appreciation for the fact that you stick around and you watch these videos, because there's a million other things that you could be doing, and I appreciate that you take this precious time that we do have in our lives and you share these few brief moments with me. So thank you. And with that said, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving with your families and your loved ones, and you're staying safe out there. And I'm more excited to make more of these videos and catch up with you guys after these holidays. So, Cinematic Souls out. That's super cheesy. I'm not gonna really do that, but I just wanted to see what that felt like, and I don't like it. Anyways, bye guys.